Today, I'm taking one of the world's most luxurious sleeper trains, the Royal Scotsman, for 100 hours across the Highlands. Join me on a never-before-seen journey from my private ensuite bedroom, fine dining in one of the two restaurants, hanging out in the observation car, and even a massage at the onboard Bamford Spa. Off-train excursions include seal spotting, exploring a private castle, and I even dabble in some Scottish dancing on the platform. With tickets costing an eye-watering $15,000, let's lift the veil on what life is like on board this exclusive train. We'll pick up my journey mid-morning in Edinburgh, Scotland. We're requested to report to the Waldorf Astoria for check-in formalities. This of course is no ordinary check-in procedure, and I'm offered a delicious glass of champagne whilst we await for all the other passengers to arrive. A coach is dispatched to take us through the historic winding streets of Edinburgh over to Waverley Station. Now of course, there is a tradition on every Royal Scotsman journey whereby guests are led through the station by a piper, and it's fair to say we've got a number of inquisitive looks whilst we walk in procession to our platform.
Well, hello there and welcome back to the channel. You join me today in Edinburgh Waverley Station, where I'm about to get on board one of the world's most luxurious trains, the Royal Scotsman.
Boarding is by red carpet, where we're individually and warmly welcomed by the train manager, Alex. We're asked to head to the observation car for yet another champagne reception. Being as usual the last aboard, it's not long before we set off on our epic journey across the Scottish Highlands. We're offered a sumptuous afternoon tea, which certainly hits the spot, giving us a stellar sample of the culinary delights we can expect over the coming days. I'm informed that our cabin is ready, so let's head down the train to room J.
Well, welcome, and you've probably seen in the back shot, of course, we have Millie joining along for the ride today. How are you, Millie?
Hi, good, thank you.
She's back with a new hairdo as well. And with that, let's take a proper look around our new home, where we're going to be for the next 5 days.
We're located in State Car 4, mid-carriage, which is my preference for a smoother ride. This is a twin berth complete with 2 plush beds, adorned in soft Scottish wools and tartans for our comfort. Naturally, our luggage has been delivered to our room, ready to unpack into the wardrobe and tartan-lined chest of drawers. A handwritten note from Alex wishes us a comfortable stay. The attention to detail here is a hallmark of Belmont's personal and traditional hospitality, something which has certainly become a scarce rarity in much of the hospitality sector. There's also an ensuite washroom adjacent to our bedroom, complete with Bamford amenities and a compact yet practical shower. Outside we approach one of Britain's most iconic bridges, the Forth Bridge, opened back in 1890, taking over 7 years to complete. Crossing the Firth River in 1700 feet, still to this day it remains the world's second longest single cantilever span. As we continue north into the Highlands, we must prepare for my first appointment. Of course, the Royal Scotsman has its own Bamford Spa, and who am I not to sample such a unique facility on the rails?
A few minutes later.
Treatments are bookable throughout the journey, though this is at an additional cost. Well, that was fabulous and thoroughly relaxing. I still find it strange being in a moving spa, and would you believe this isn't my first time after the Andean Explorer in Peru.
So I've just got back to our room, just waiting for Millie. She's gone in to have hers, and then we've got to get ready because it's not long before our first dinner on the Royal Scotsman.
Dinner will be a mix of formal and smart attire over the coming days. It's the latter this evening, so no bow tie for me. There are 2 dining cars which each feature a more communal dining setup, so you've got to be prepared to make some new friends. Let's take a look at tonight's menu then. You'll notice usefully that wines are paired to each course. After being offered some fresh bread, I'm served my appetizer of salmon tartare with a spiced beetroot chutney. Needless to say, it's phenomenal and a fitting start in what's to come. For my main, I have the roasted Gressingham duck breast, presented yet again impeccably, and of course completely polished off whilst chatting to our new friends Louise and Paul. For close, I opt for the pistachio and olive cake with a strawberry sorbet. By the end of dinner, we've arrived at tonight's stable of Aviemore, a town in the Cairngorms National Park, certainly well and truly in the Highlands. Millie and I head to the observation car for tonight's local entertainment. Whilst out for the evening, our bedroom has been turned down, with the tartan replaced by a rich cotton goose down duvet and comfy slippers.
Well, and so ends our first day on the Royal Scotsman. Going to be in this siding now for the entire evening. The really good thing about this train is that it stops overnight, so we're not going to be in a situation where I'm going to be rocked around, which is what the case is on a lot of these sort of trains, including in part the Andean Explorer even, but more pertinently the Orient Express. With that, it's good night, and we'll both catch you in the morning.
The next day.
Well, that has got to be perhaps the best sleep I've had on board a train before, and a welcome to Inverness, the cultural capital of the Scottish Highlands.
Well, it's good morning from Inverness. We have arrived. A place I actually have been before when I went on the Caledonian Sleeper. You'll have to check that video out after this, but good morning from us both.
Good morning.
Have you been to Inverness before?
No, but my great aunt lives in Inverness.
Oh, we'll have to see if we run into her, won't we?
We have around an hour of free time in Inverness for a leisurely stroll down to the River Ness and the imposing castle, dating from 1057. This castle in fact features on the Scottish £50 note. Not wanting to miss our train, let's hot-foot it back to the station. It's a beautiful looking train, especially when compared to the various commuter services dotted around the station. As you can see, we still have a fair amount to explore on board. Not sure about you, but I'm starved. Let's head to breakfast. It's a hearty affair with a plethora of tasty options to start your day. We're surprised with some champagne from the train manager to celebrate my birthday, which is a lovely and thoughtful touch. So what have we gone for? Aside from our shared basket of pastries, FYI, we saw these being prepared last night. Millie has elected for the full Scottish breakfast, complete with haggis and black pudding, whilst I've gone for the smoothie of the day, and of course my favourite, avocado on sourdough toast. For those wondering, haggis is not really to everyone's taste though. However, as you'll see later, I actually really enjoy it. With that, the train lurches backwards and we pull out of Inverness. We have a busy day ahead of us on the rails as we head westwards over to the Isle of Skye. With most getting ready for this afternoon's excursion, there's time to enjoy my favourite part of the train to ourselves, the observation car. This is usually the life and soul of the train, calm by day, dancing and whiskey by night. Though of course the real party piece is the outside observation deck, the only of which in the entirety of Europe. It's absolutely the best place to be, as the beautiful Scottish landscape rolls on past. It is, however, not the largest, comfortably catering for about 6 or so. Would you believe it's time for yet more food, an early lunch prior to seal spotting. We're served some delicious warm bread whilst perusing the menu. Mercifully, it's a light meal after quite a big brekkie. For my main, I enjoyed the pea and courgette risotto with asparagus and salsa verde. And what did I say about this being light? Dessert, anyone? presenting a raspberry oatmeal and whiskey full for your enjoyment. And enjoy we did. How divine. It's time to head back to our cabin. We'll need something a little warmer for this excursion. Welcome to the quaint village of Plockton, also known as the Jewel of the Highlands. We're met by the Royal Scotsman coach, which will take us the short drive to our private boat. As beautiful as the rainbow is, of course that does mean there's incoming rain.
We've battled through the elements. As you've seen, I'm pretty soaked, everyone else is. And typical British fashion, or well, Scottish fashion of course, is now beautiful sunshine. Out on the deck, let's enjoy it, let's go and hope that we find and spot some seals.
To warm us up, we're offered a remarkably tasty whiskey liqueur as we pass some of the most breathtaking scenery of my life. This is Loch Carron, and she's certainly showing off for us this afternoon. With the area teeming with activity, anticipation is at an all-time high, and as we round an island, we spot what we've come for. I believe that's mission success, as we make our way back to the train, and yes, this evening I will be donning a bow tie. It's time for a quick word from today's video sponsor. Every video I'm asked, how can so many people travel like that in times like these? Many luxury travellers know the key is having your money work for you, even when you're on the road, or should I say rails. A stock portfolio, second property, brokerage account, you name it. But whatever your plan is, this year has been incredibly challenging to say the least, with roughly $36 trillion lost in stocks and bonds. But there are, however, alternative investments still performing, like contemporary art. It's outpaced the S&P 500 for the last 26 years. And has a negative correlation to the stock market, making it highly desirable during market meltdowns. That's how, even as most investments suffer this year, Masterworks has gotten amazing results. Masterworks files paintings like Picasso's with the SEC, turning legendary art into an actual investment for a fraction of the full price. Masterworks has been featured on TechCrunch, CNBC and Forbes, and they have over 650,000 users. To date, Masterworks has sold 9 paintings, with 4 of those sales just in the last 3 months. These full sales returned over 13, 17, 21 and 33% net to investors. Paintings have sold out in minutes on Masterworks in the past, but you can start investing right away by clicking the link in the description. In our absence, our train has been shuttled over to Kyle Harbour, where we'll be stabled tonight with views out over the Isle of Skye. Kyle Harbour is situated within the sheltered confines of Loch Elsh. It's a deep water port and plays host to a variety of fishing vessels, many of which are exporting Scottish salmon to the world. It's time to get back on board our home on the rails. Not before, of course, another delicious glass of whiskey liqueur.
What a wonderful afternoon's excursion. I have to say I thought we were very lucky to be able to see the seals. Now, the next thing, of course, this evening is a formal dinner, and it's why I have my shirt that's been freshly ironed for us, along with Millie's dress that's been steamed.
The shower on board offers a consistent pressure and temperature, though I'd suggest showering while stationary like here. Another part of the trip, a sudden lurch took me quite off guard. Good job that's not on film.
A few moments later.
I've gone for a NASA formal geek chic this evening, whereas Millie is bringing the class and sophistication in a stunning black dress. With that, let's head to dinner. As usual, is looking stunning in the Victory dining car. This rolling stock actually dates from 1945, originally as a corridor first, making it the oldest carriage on the train. Let's take a look at this evening's menu then. In fact, at this point, and it may be the gin, I'm very impressed by how beautifully presented our starter is, the pan-seared scallops, served in its shell with buttered leeks. If you know me by now, you'll know my absolute favourite is steak, and what a steak at that. A medium rare fillet of Aberdeen Angus beef. I'm in heaven. Much to my surprise, Millie has organised a little birthday cake for me, which is such a thoughtful and cute touch to end my meal. As we migrate to the observation car for this evening's entertainment, let's take a quick look at the adjoining lavatory. Far from what you'd expect on a train, and more akin to a country house ensuite, yet again with beautifully smelling Bamford lavender and peppermint amenities. Meanwhile, however,
oh, he's a great dancer. This is Brock's got bad knee.
Well, welcome back. What a lovely evening. Have you had a good evening, Millie?
Yeah, it's been lovely. More importantly, have you had a good evening?
Yes, birthday boy has had a good evening. Anyway, with that said, we're going to get some rest now. We'll catch you in the morning.
See you in the morning.
The next day.
it's a bright and early start as we head out of Kyle Harbour with the Isle of Skye looming in the backdrop. Today will be in two parts, with the first half journeying east across the highlands to Boat of Garton. This evening we'll continue to Dundee. Right, let's head to breakfast in Dining Car 1, Raven. After an all-important caffeine hit, I go for the popular full Scottish breakfast. Haggis may not be for everyone, but I certainly enjoy it. As we continue to trundle along yet more of the outstanding countryside, let's head to the observation deck. I honestly don't see this getting old, ever. What a place! Welcome to Garve Station, our first stop of the day.
We're off to go and try some Scottish whiskies, of course, at a distillery. So let me just go and get straight on board now on the bus and go and explore this interesting distillery and try some whiskey. Can't beat that in the morning, can you?
Built in 1897, the Singleton of Glen Ode is the only remaining single malt distillery on the Black Isle. We're given a private tour of the facility, concluding in a tasting. And whilst quite the sharpener at 11 AM, it was most enjoyable. Back on the coach, we continue east as far as Inverness, passing over the Keswick Bridge. Below is the Bewley Firth, which is a navigable waterway, so therefore the bridge is raised high over sea level. As if by deja vu, we're back at Inverness Station. Here we'll rejoin the Scotsman as we head further into the Highlands this afternoon. Met by yet another refreshing yet alcoholic drink, we're warmly welcomed back on board by the staff. I make it lunchtime. Another light offering today, a fresh chicory salad with feta, orange and honey dressing. After a brief caffeine-induced interlude, dessert is served. A vanilla creme brulee with walnut and cranberry cookies. And just in case that wasn't all sweet enough, we'll head to the observation car for another Scottish delicacy.
I like it. It's unusual.
This is Iron Brew. To candidly describe its taste, it's something like Tutti Frutti or bubblegum, I guess. It's a real treat, but loaded with sugar. A far cry from my usual Diet Coke. After a lazy couple of hours in the observation car, we arrive at Boat of Garton, at a private station. It's run mostly by volunteers, who have built a replica main station and operate the Heritage Railway. Today though, we'll be using the station as a base to catch our coach over to, wait for it, a private castle known as the Pearl of the North. It's still to this day the family home of the Macpherson Grants since 1546. We're shown around the grounds and castle by Guy Macpherson Grant, who lives in the castle with his wife and 3 daughters. now time to head back to the train, as we still have a lot of ground to cover this evening. We need to head down as far as Dundee for tonight's entertainment, which involves me dancing on a platform. God help us all. It's another formal evening tonight, so I'll don my NASA tie and blazer and head for pre-dinner drinks with Millie. We're offered some delicious canapes and some of the Royal Scotsman's own gin. We migrate to the dining room, which is looking stunning as ever. Let's take a look at what's being served for our final night on the rails then. We'll start with a fillet of sea bass, carrot and peanut salad with a wasabi dressing. For main, we're served perhaps my favourite dish of the trip, roast loin of peatland lamb, dauphinoise potatoes and a lamb juice. Just before dessert, there's a moment to thank the incredibly hardworking staff who have made our journey such a pleasure so far. To close, we'll indulge in the white chocolate creme with a creme fraiche ice cream, again sublime. Just as I finish my dessert, we arrive into Dundee, our last stable stop. This is also where this evening's entertainment will be, out on the platform. We all assemble ready for perhaps the most unique activity I've done to date on YouTube, traditional Scottish dancing. Thankfully, I have an excellent dance partner this evening that can at least distract from my two left feet. It's really well done and everyone is having a whale of a time, helped along by of course the wine and whiskey at dinner. What a fitting crescendo to a truly exceptional few days. I awake early to catch our departure from Dundee. We'll take our last leg of the trip down to Edinburgh this morning, one of the highlights being the route over the near 11,000 foot Tay Bridge. This was constructed back in 1878 and carries the railway off the Firth of Tay between Dundee and the suburb of Warmit in Fife. As we continue into Fife, let's talk cost. How much did I pay? The short answer is a lot. This is one of the more expensive Royal Scotsman trips due to its length of 5 days, which comes in at a staggering £14,000. However, I did pay less in this instance. This trip was a long time in the making, with 2 previous failed attempts due to the rail strikes in the UK. As a result, Belmont put me on the last trip of the season, which was an upgrade to my original £8,000 ticket. This was facilitated by my friend Jarvis, who runs theluxurytraveller.com, and the first stop I'd suggest if you're looking to book a similar trip. With that, we roll into Edinburgh station, this time to the sound of a small brass band. Millie and I both agree this has been the best rail trip either of us have experienced.
Well, it's with great pleasure that I welcome you back to Edinburgh. We have had the most incredible time, haven't we,
Such an
Millie?
amazing time.
What was your highlight?
Just everything.
There was so much.
The Highlands were my highlight.
Oh, goodness me. Well, on that cheesy note, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you all again next time.
Bye.